So please welcome to the stage, Jimmy Leach. Thank you. Excellent, thank you.
It'll take a little longer than the space of this conference to psychoanalyze you, I'm afraid. So, but I'll do what I can. I don't do these very often for reasons which you're about to discover. I'm not very good at it. But I will ramble through the cultural journey that the Foreign Office is on and try and explain to you how we're trying to adopt the tools of digital diplomacy, the tools of digital communication. And as Alex said, we are on chapter 1, page 1, and I'm probably even paragraph 1 of this journey. But we'll see how we're getting on. Now, how do I move this over? Is this a clicker? Where's my clicker? Ah, there we are. The Foreign Office was founded in 1782, which makes it 5 years younger than the United States, which isn't a dig, it's a context, because where we're at is a fairly long cultural journey, as I say. And we've been doing digital diplomacy for about 4 or 5 years. But if you look at this, seems very familiar. This kind of building seems very familiar to anybody who works in the Foreign Office, as these pictures will show. We're in a place, we're in a building, we're in an organisation that isn't used to this kind of communication. We do open up occasionally, quite literally. This is where there's an open house weekend in London where all historical buildings which are normally closed are opened up to the public, and everyone troops around all the staterooms and all the fine rooms. And we asked everybody to put their pictures on Flickr, and that's a couple of ones we got. But the reason is why we're adopting these things, and what the reason is and what we're trying to achieve. Now, there is a digital diplomacy website which explains our methodologies and explains our motivations. And on one page of that it says, we are solving foreign policy issues via the internet, which is possibly comically optimistic. I don't think we've actually solved anything via the internet quite yet. But what we're delivering is a kind of a version of soft power, a digital soft power, where we are trying to raise issues, trying to amplify, trying to discuss, trying to engage, and trying to deliver across issues which are of importance to the British government and the Foreign and Commonwealth Office. This example is where we did a Facebook campaign about Burma, about house arrests, about sham elections. And it's just a case, we got, I think, about 600 Facebook users to sign a birthday card, a digital birthday card for Aung San Suu Kyi, which we sent to our embassy in Burma. We then passed it on to her in house arrest. Not a big deal, didn't really change anything, not really going to change the elections, but it's part of the landscape of soft power. Elsewhere on this comically optimistic digital diplomacy website, we ask the question, why do we do this? And there's a rather more downbeat answer, because we have to. Not because we want to, because we have to. And there is a sort of version 1.0 of our digital diplomacy, which is the kind of static structure we've got to our digital efforts. We have got 257 different websites, which is kind of a lot. We've got these websites based in 170 different countries, and the numerical difference is made up of the 40 different languages that we do this in including Tagalog, which I'd never heard of before. And on that, we deliver news, we deliver information, we deliver policy, we do some campaigning, and we do services, consular services, visas, passports, travel advice, etc. It's very conventional public diplomacy. It's very conventional public relations. It's very conventional knowledge, reputation management. It's not difficult. It's not unusual, and it's not new. What we've got to do is to try and move it on, and trying to do something which is more engaging and is more useful. And we're developing principles which we hope will enable us to move to a more engaging, to a more two-way, to a more useful process. And some of those principles we've adopted from the Foreign Office itself, rather than from the world of digital. We're trying to make the Foreign Office digital, and in doing that you can't go countercultural all the time. You've got to adopt the methodologies and the culture that they are used to within the Foreign Office. And one of the first is what they call presumed competence. And it assumes, largely correctly, that everybody who works as a diplomat in the Foreign Office knows what they're doing and knows what to say and knows how to engage with people in a meeting, in a one-to-one, in a phone call, in a policy document, and they know what they're doing. And we're translating that to a presumed competence in digital. We're assuming that if we give people the tools to engage digitally, that they will use them properly and they will say the right things. So what we've done is we've developed this devolved editorship model where everybody locally around the world in those 170 different locations is responsible for their own output, for their own engagement, and for their own, one of a better phrase, their own version of the international hyperlocality, which is where we want people to engage not through London, but through Brazil, through New Zealand, through Philippines, whatever it is they are. We want them to take responsibility and to deliver messages to those local audiences and to engage with those local audiences. And on top of that fairly static digital network, we've got a blogging network of currently about 60 bloggers. Again, doing it in different languages, again, engaging, writing about what they want to write about and what they think their local audience will be interested in. We've done about 4,000 different blog posts across the last 3 or 4 years. And we assume that they will take the responsibility. We don't commission them, we don't edit them, we don't tell them what to say and what not to say. We let them do what they want to do. And it largely works. The picture here is the Vietnamese ambassador, a guy called Mark Kent, who blogs in both English and Vietnamese. Where it's presumed competence, it doesn't clearly extend to his tennis, but he's one of the best examples we've got of people who are engaging locally. But if we're going to make this part of the bloodstream of the Foreign Office, we've got to digitise the Foreign Office. And we've got to go beyond the concept of a few adapted individuals who can deliver it and deliver it for the 16,000 people who are in the Foreign Office, 3/4 of whom work outside of London. And we've got to get them to use it. And it's the same is true right across government, where people still feel able to say, I don't do digital, without feeling embarrassed and without feeling foolish. They ought to feel the same if they said, I don't do telephones. It ought to be something that you do, and you do naturally, and you do competently. And it's not about upskilling people to use digital tools. It's about de-skilling the tools so that people can use them. So we've got, as everybody in lots and lots of governments across the world have got, quite a cumbersome, quite a heavyweight CMS. We need to move away from that kind of approach where you're expecting to use systems largely used by publishing professionals and use systems which are used by people who are adept at Microsoft Word and nothing further. But we will get there and we will move forward, because in any organisation, if the head of that organisation is prepared to use digital tools, then everyone else will start to fall into place. And William Hague, our Foreign Secretary, if you didn't recognise him, is increasingly adept on Twitter. But this is normally the kind of communications we still do, a whole not dissimilar to this one, where a politician will speak and deliver policy through that traditional me to you sort of mechanism. And we've got to take that content, we've got to take that policy content, and we've got to distribute it. And what we're trying to do is develop a system not based on building a network of sites. We have a network of sites which are destination sites. We're trying to do distribution. We're trying to distribution, not destination, is what we're trying to do. We're trying to make the content that we've got granular, and we're trying to deliver that through as many different third-party sites, as many different social media sites, as many different ways as we possibly can. I keep dropping these. I shouldn't have cut them so small. So we're getting slowly better at social media. We haven't got the high numbers of Twitter followers that Alec has got. But again, we're devolving the social media. We're devolving the social media in the same way as we're devolving the website network. So we've got about, and it's about a coalition of the willing, for want of a better phrase. It's about getting people across the network who want to engage in social media to engage in social media. So we've got 60 plus Facebook pages for the different embassies. So we've got about 45,000 followers on those. We've got 70 plus Twitter accounts. So we've got all these various people who are trying to engage in these various ways. And you can follow all these from the great and the powerful, the Foreign Secretary, right down to me. As people you can follow who are engaging in foreign policy one-to-one and trying to engage and trying to listen and trying to deliver it back. So we have got a fairly robust social media presence. On a good day, it feels that we're trying to get this content and we're trying to distribute it into the weft and weave of the internet through as many mechanisms as is humanly possible. On a bad day, it feels like we're doing a tick box of social media in the same way as any PR consultant in Soho would do. But we're on Flickr, we're on YouTube, we're on Dig, we're on Facebook, we're on Twitter, we're on iTunes, we're on Twinkly, we're on News, we're on Tumblr, we're on all these places and we're delivering. And we're trying, it's not so much that we've got a big checklist, it's not so much that we've conquered every little space. It's that we're trying to learn and trying to understand each of these individual tools and trying to get individuals in the Foreign Office to take direct action and to do direct engagement through those tools. It's a slow process, but we will get there. And it is helped, as I say, by our Foreign Secretary becoming increasingly adept at these things. He's a big man on Twitter, big fan of Twitter. He doesn't do an overseas visit now without doing, sorry, I didn't mean to shout like that, amplify that, without doing a Twitter Q&A. So when he went to Pakistan, when he went to Washington, when he went to Japan, he will do these Q&As. We do a hashtag. He's in the UN. Last one he did was in the UN General Assembly meeting last couple of weeks ago. And we do a hashtag. We demand questions of people. People do ask questions of varying degrees of relevance and impertinence, but usually we get a good response. And we get a direct engagement. He replied to individuals about policy. Very snappy, obviously, but it's engaging and it builds. And it builds a trust between a politician and an audience. But we're also building not just through social media, it's also distribution through the normal tools of any kind of web presence. So we're building new RSS feeds, we're building an API, and we're talking to developers and saying, what is it that you want from us? How can we give our information to you? Now, in truth, most of that is not done with the digital diplomacy stuff. It's not done around policy. It's done around travel advice. It's done around how we tell people what the risks and the opportunities are for travel around the world. There's been a couple of travel advice pieces in the press the last couple of days. And it's that kind of information where it's not just here's some practical useful advice, but here's some practical useful advice where actually the brand of the Foreign Office is useful. And we're asking developers, it's no good us trying to develop an application, trying to do an iPhone app or trying to do something clever like that. We are civil servants. We are not good at that. What we have got to do is deliver the information to people who are cleverer than we are and who can mash that information with other information that we don't have control over. So it might be commercial information. It's no point us sending out lots and lots of information about an ash cloud saying you can't fly unless we can give you an alternative. We can't do that. We can't let you book somewhere. We can't let you book a hotel. We can't make you check your travel insurance. Other people can. So it's that kind of, here's the information. It's another version of the open data. Here's the information. Please do something with it. Let us know what it is, because they will do it better. Now, we have this presumed competence. This is a training, this is an embassy in the Ukraine on a training day. And they've uploaded their slightly less than elegant pictures onto the Flickr. But we have the tools, we have the presumed competence, we have the growing expertise, and we will publish, and we will explain, and we will listen. And we've got dashboards coming out of our ears about how we listen to other people, how we listen to the right places, how we listen to the bloggers, to the media. And we do engagement. We try and talk direct, one-to-one to people. But now what? To know what we do with this, as I say, chapter 1, as Alex says, chapter 1, page 1, paragraph 1, we need a couple of things to come to maturity. First of all, we need to understand where we are and what we're doing and why we're doing it and what the effect is. Now, as with all digital media, everyone counts the eyeballs. Everyone counts how many people are reading what you do on your website. which is a very, very limiting measurement. If we are pushing our information out through APIs, through RSS, through third-party distribution, through social media distribution, the further we push that information, the less we can count it. And the less we can count, the less we actually understand the effect we're having. And the more we're in the weft and the weave of the internet, the less we know about the individuals who are looking at it. But digital people insist on measuring what they can see and insist on thinking that that's the important thing. And it isn't. Because we're not a newspaper. As you heard, I've worked in newspapers where the drive is to drive people to your space because there's an economic necessity to do that. You have your banners and your skyscrapers and your buttons and your ads, which will drive your revenues. That's not what we need to do. That's not what we're trying here. As the Foreign Office, we're not trying to drive revenues. That's not the point. What we're trying to do is change behaviour. So that if there's an ash cloud, Heathrow is empty. Heathrow was empty during the ash cloud crisis, and that's a communications triumph. But it doesn't matter whether it came from us or whether it came from somebody else, whether they came to our website to learn that or whether it's somebody else's website to learn that. The BBC and Sky News were cutting and pasting our travel advice, putting it onto their own news pages without any attribution. Now, a year ago in the newspaper, I'd have been furious. How dare you take this? But now you think, well, right, we've won. The information we want to get out there is being distributed by people with far bigger audiences than we are. So that changed the behaviour. People didn't go to airports. And we also need to measure sentiment. Are people understanding the policy that we're trying to explain? Are people thinking differently? It's about reputation management. So that's what we need to measure. And we need to understand better what the audience is, how the audience... There's a tendency to think this is what the digital people will do, as though digital people never pick up a newspaper, never turn on a TV, never listen to the radio. We haven't really got a proper holistic view of an audience and how they take in media and they take in right across the media landscape. So once we start measuring the right things, then we can start understanding the next stage, the WeGov sort of stage, where we understand what to do with it and what the level of engagement is and what the outcome of that is. An understanding of how a piece of digital engagement, a Twitter Q&A, a Facebook Q&A, or whatever it's going to be, how that changes policy, how we put that in to the civil service system, develop a mechanism which says, this was said over here, this is what we'll do with that information, this is what we'll do with that sentiment, this is what we'll do with that feedback, this is what we'll do with that greater understanding of what the audience say. But that machinery is not there yet. That machinery is not really developed. And it'll take a little while. And it'll take, basically, it'll take numbers. As with anything, it's going to be the attention economics of it. In an attention economy, once you've got the audience, once you've got that kind of delivery, once you've got that kind of engagement, then there becomes an impetus to know what to do with it. So, that's roughly where we're at. We're slowly getting there. We've got the tools. We're learning how to use them. And we've started a shift in the culture of an organisation that has pictures like these on the walls, where you can't, on a secure system, secured PC system, you can't see half the internet. On a place where I have to walk out of the building to get a mobile signal. That's the kind of digital world that we're in, but we're slowly changing it. We're slowly opening it up. And as we develop and learn and get the machinery of government to understand the machinery of digital, once we've got that, then we're really going to get somewhere. Thank you.
Thank you. So we're running just about on time, so we're going to take a coffee break. Please be back here at 11:15. Thank you very much. Good job.
Thank you. It's all right.
Excellent. Thank you. Thank you.